All right, here we are, guys. Okay, let's start this over. Welcome to Freedom Friday again. Hello, hello, hello. My name is Marlene or Marley. And yes, I am driving. Both hands on the wheel. Topic tonight is, what are you trading your family for? What are you trading your family for? And yeah, I was on a few minutes ago, but it was having a few of difficulties. I was going the wrong direction and you guys weren't able to stay online, so here we are. And so we were talking about the story behind King David, and most importantly in this story, Absalom, which is his son. Absalom was the brother that ended up killing Amnon, which was the brother that ended up raping his sister Tamar. So Absalom took it upon his hand to revenge his sister, and he killed Amnon. And King David was upset, sad, frustrated. Absalom left the house, went to live somewhere else for a while. King David called him after he was healed from his son being gone, call him to come back to the palace and be with him. And an interesting thing happened, that after the healing took place and after King David welcomed him back to his home, Absalom actually started desiring to be the king. Hey, welcome. Decided to took it upon himself to just take the crown from his father. In a way, King David was still the king, but he started persuading the people of Israel. He started persuading the people of Israel in calling him king and seeing him as the king, and started talking in a way, bringing them away from King David and making himself to be the king, even before he was even announced as the king by his father, or even before his father even passed away. He just seemed to me, based on what I was studying, that he got greedy. And when he came back, he just wanted everything that his father had. So as I was studying, going along towards chapter 16, verse 21 or so, you guys can check later if you like. So King David was going away from him. Hello. King David was running away from Absalom because he was out to get him. So Absalom was out to get his father and kill his father, to take his possessions and take up his kingship. And David sent one of his confidants to Absalom to act like he was going to partner with him, but really he was there kind of observing and watching what's going on, so that he could go back and tell King David. And on the last chapter I read, chapter 16 of that 2 Samuel book, I read that Absalom went to this gentleman. His name was Ahithophel, I think it was, and he was someone that King David and his family used to rely on to obtain the advice from God. It was anything that this man will say to them will be recognized as something that came from God back before all of this happened. And Absalom ended up, now this person was with Absalom and had lost his religion, literally had lost his religion. He was not given advice from God, and told Absalom asked him, what else can I do? What's the next thing for me to do? And he'd say, you need to sleep with your father's concubines. And of course, we're talking about culture here. Back in the day, you know, it was the culture, and in the Old Testament, it was the culture. Hello, welcome. It was the culture for men to have many women. And so, in concubines and things of that nature, that was the culture in that era. And this man told Absalom, you need to sleep with your father's concubines and let the people see you, so that they really can believe that you despise your father. And so then you become the king, because they'll know that you really don't care about him. Technically, I'm paraphrasing. I don't have the Bible with me, as you can tell. I'm driving, so. But long story short, he said, you sleep with your father's women and let the people see you. And the Bible says that they put up a tent in the roof of the house put up a tent in the roof of the house for this man, and that he went on and took all the concubines, however many there were, that were taking care of the house while King David was gone, and he slept with his father's women. That's the last thing I read in the chapter. I need to continue to read because I'm like, oh my God. So it stuck with me. It stuck with me this whole week, y'all, because I'm like, what? The thing is, he was going to be king anyway because he is the king's son. So it was for him anyway, but because of greed and because he wanted it so fast and he wanted the power and the control, he ended up doing so many things that didn't make no sense. Disrespect, full display. Right. Disrespect and full display. I was like, whoa. And I guess I never saw that, or never, into detail. We know about King David. We know about the story with Amnon and Tamar and all of that. But I don't know that at least for me, I didn't know. I never saw that story. Like, wow, that's totally disrespect. And so to what level, that's what I'm trying to bring it back to our topic tonight. To what level, what are we trading our family for? What are we doing in our lives to disrespect our family in such a way just because we want the title, or just because we want the attention, or just because we want a piece of meat? I was talking to one of my friends about that earlier, and I was like, you just for a piece of meat, no offense to the human body, but when we talk about it, you're giving up what matters for just something that is temporary. That's what I mean when I say a piece of meat. So how many things are you putting in front of, or you're taking priority away from your family? It just amazed me that it stuck with me. And so the Bible also says in Ephesians 6, and it's funny because we run to Ephesians 6 a lot when it comes to talking about warfare. Ephesians, we wrestle not against flesh and blood. But Ephesians 6, 1 and 2 says, children, obey your parents and honor your father and your mother, for it is the first commandment with a promise that you may live well, or something of the nature, and live long. So it asks you to honor your father and your mother because it is a blessing unto God, and he will bless you and give you a long life by respecting and honoring your parents. And so sometimes we take it for granted. We take for granted the things that our family have done. This is my GPS, guys. If you guys just join, again, I'm going to a place for the first time, I believe. I don't recall if I'm going to Anya High School. I don't think. It may have been my second time. But anyway, long story short, I don't know how to get there. So I need the GPS. So excuse the GPS this time. I just had to have Freedom Friday because I told you guys before, I am determined to do this. So by any means necessary. So that's what we're doing. So anyway, I want you guys to think about that. Like, what are you trading your family for? What are you trading the things that matter for? That a moment of pleasure, a moment of just fun. Second, guys. Yes, that a moment of fun, a moment of pleasure, a moment of just wanting to have something that tastes good, or something that looks good, or something that you think is for you, when God has not given you permission to take it, takes away what you're supposed to be doing as far as your family goes and those that are connected to you. And not only are you dishonoring God, your family, but you're dishonoring God too. Because when you're dishonoring his word, when you're not following his word, when you're doing things such as the ones that Absalom did to, hey, thank you for coming and joining, doing certain things like Absalom did to get to the next level, you're not honoring God. Because the thing is, he already said that he has plans for you of good and not evil. So he already has the plans for you. He already has, riches and glory. But there are some things that God wants us to do as well. So it's not for us to force the things that are there in life for us. There's not for us to force the things that are coming. Absalom was going to be the king after King David died. Absalom was going to be the king after King David assigned him to do that. But he didn't have the patience to wait on his timing. He didn't have the patience to wait when it was his season. So he decided to persuade the people of Israel, and not only persuade the people of Israel to do what he did and to see him as the king, but he disrespect his father and the public in such a way that it was nothing but hatred. Like, you went to the point of the lowest level, and we're talking from 2 Samuel 16, guys, for those of you who skip the lowest level possible, just because you wanted a title and you wanted a crown. Don't want the crown so bad, guys. Don't want the title so bad that you forget where you came from, because he was the Tamar at one point and doing the thing that he thought, he was defending righteousness. And then, well, I'm not condoning killing his brother, but he was the one saying, no, that was wrong, you shouldn't do that. And then he comes back and dishonor his father. Like, don't ever forget where you come from. Don't ever forget what you're supposed to do and who you're supposed to be and what you're called to do in life. Don't ever let riches and glory from man take away from the riches and glory that God has for you because you're too greedy. And then also, don't forget that if it wasn't for your parents, you won't be here. Regardless of how awful your father or your mother may be, you wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them. So we need to learn how to, appreciate and honor them. That's what the Bible says, honor them. And if there's some issues there that are not resolved, then ask God to heal you and to help you to forgive. Because if you don't, you're dishonoring God. You're dishonoring God. You have to learn how to let things go. You have to learn how to heal from those things, and you have to learn how to represent God and how to wait on your timing. Do not be so impatient for what God has for you that you pray your family for a piece of gold, for a piece of meat, for a piece of flesh. It is not that serious. It is not that serious. It is not that serious. So, guys, that's all I have. I have no idea how long I've been here. I haven't been paying much attention to the time right now because I'm paying attention to the road. But that is the message tonight. What are you trading your family for? What are you trading, God for? What are you trading your friends for? What are you trading your ministry for? What are some things that are wrong, but you still are doing it because of you being greedy?